If you're working a 9 to 5 and making over $100,000, people think that you've got it figured out. But here is what they don't see. Your calendar is controlled by somebody else. You still have to request off to take vacations. Hell, a lot of times you still have to ask off if you want to leave early for the day. And the higher you move up, the more pressure that is put on you, the more stress. So today I'm going to walk through why making six figures and up is one of the biggest traps you can fall into in corporate America. Hey guys, Dustin Neff, anti-career coach. I help people move out of corporate America, start their own business, and launch it within 90 days so they can leave corporate America forever. So today we're talking about the $100,000 plus trap. So here is kind of the corporate ladder. All right, where most people start, they start some entry-level position. They're making $70,000 or less. So a little bit of money, a little bit of responsibility, not a lot. As they get really good and they move up, they get to $100,000. So a little more responsibility, but still some good freedom. As they move further up, you go up the rungs of the ladder, 150,000, 200, 250,000. Your plate gets fuller and fuller, and the pressure mounts in each position. And basically what you end up having is golden handcuffs. So my art, as you know, not good, but golden handcuffs. So you are under high stress. You have a high salary, but a lot of stress comes with it. A lot of pressure is put on you. You have no time freedom. Once I left corporate America, I did not realize how long a workday actually is. When you're in that rat race every day, 8 to 5, 6 to 5, 10 to 7, whatever time period you work, it's a long day. So being in corporate America, you have no time freedom. And you fall into a trap. So it's like a hamster wheel. You just keep chasing, you keep gaining, you want to move up, and you do. And you make more money, and they expect more and more out of you. So today we're going to talk about why you'll never be free working a 9 to 5. So talk about time. So we break it down into 5 areas: time, money, security, your impact, and your fulfillment. We'll go through job and then being a business owner. So time, you don't have that. You do not control your time. Somebody else controls your time. You may get some leeway of when you want to take vacation and things like that, what's important to you. But for the big picture, it's pretty much set. All right, how much money you can make. So as you get promotions, you can make typically a promotion 10 to 15% raise. Annually, you get most companies give a 3 to 5% raise. So it's kind of capped. Your bonus structure is based upon your company. All right, security. So this is the biggest thing. So you feel like it's safer to have a job because it's secure. That's an absolute illusion. You are one mistake away, or one perceived mistake away from being terminated. So there's not really the job security that you think there is. All right, impact. So yes, you do have impact, but it is limited to whatever your role is. It's hard to go above and beyond and really make the impact that most people, I would think, high achievers, the impact that they want to make. They're very rarely able to do that. And then, are you fulfilled? So probably early in your career and you're proving yourself and you're moving up, you're probably pretty fulfilled. But then when you hit a certain level and you start seeing the patterns and you recognize that it's never going to be good enough. They're always going to ask you to do more with less. So that really hits the fulfillment piece. It struggles the higher you go. All right, so compare that to owning your own business. All right, so your time, flexible. So one thing that I've really, really focused on is having like 4-hour work blocks. So my day, I get up, I check emails, I've planned out my day the night before. I go to the gym for about an hour and a half every day, Monday through Friday. Saturday I play basketball, Sunday I rest. But then I come in 4 hours, I'm dialed in. I'm working on whatever I have going on one of my businesses. So really flexible time. I take my son to school every day and I pick him up at 3 o'clock. So that's pretty wild, because I remember I had to sneak out of work one time when we first moved back to Little Rock just to take him to school on his first day. All right, so time, very flexible. Money, you can make as much money as you want. So you just have to figure out, what's your skill set and what area you're going to go into. So I've done videos on that before, and we'll kind of touch base on that. Security, so based upon your skill, you pick the right area to go into. You're as secure as you want to be. All right, impact. So you can impact whatever your goal is. You can have a much bigger impact if you own your own business, because that's probably going to be something that you're going to focus on, and you're going to have goals, and you can directly impact your impact. All right, and then fulfilling. Is it fulfilling? So just depends on what you choose as, what business you want to go into. That's why I say, man, make sure that it's something that you're passionate about so that you can have that fulfillment. But yes, so job to me doesn't really check any of the boxes. Owning your own business does. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about the cost of waiting. So I was so happy to work for the company that I always wanted to work for since I was a little kid. And, I was learning new skill sets, and I was, growing the business from $0 to $8 million, one of my first businesses here. And I was just so happy doing that, and I loved building the community here. I was new and was here for basically 8 years, but I missed out on a lot. When you work for a corporation, you're really kind of hands are tied as far as your impact and how much money you can make, and I'm a prime example of that. So here's some of the cost of waiting. So missed time. So my goal is to help a new entrepreneur hit $100,000 their first year. If you wait, it just kicks the can down the road. So missed time, missed money. Some companies, I wrote on here, no equity. Some companies do give you some equity, but very rarely. Sometimes if you work for a bigger company, you might get stock options. Smaller company, you might get some equity, but that's becoming, I guess, more and more unique, or you see that less and less. So in your business, unless you give part of your company away or take partners, you've got 100% equity. All right, the cost of waiting, your skills are tied to someone else's performance. Basically, how good you are lands you the role, and that really showcases the person that hired you, that they were good at what they're doing. So it may or may not get your promotion, but once again, when you're stuck in corporate America, you're still waiting. You're waiting for that next promotion. Talked about it earlier. So raises, you only get 3 to 5% raises annually for most companies. If you get a promotion, it's probably 10 to 15%. And then last but not least, early on you're motivated and you're having fun and all that good stuff. But when you start getting here, you start getting burnt out because you're doing the same thing over and over. There's more pressure, like I said earlier, less, do more with less. That's always the ask. So, how to get out of the $100,000 plus trap. So in 90 days, I wrote on here, don't quit yet. Let's build and launch. So clarify what skill, what are your biggest skill sets, and then you'll choose a model of, okay, this is the type of business, and I talked about it on another video, basically 5 different areas that we focus on. So you got consulting, franchising, automated sources of income, buying an existing business. And then, okay, so once you choose which model you want to go into, then you launch and test. And once you validate and you start bringing money in, then you scale it. So you want to get through this and make sure that you have chosen the right niche and that everything works. And then you put your systems into place, and then you're able to leave. You're able to get out of the golden handcuffs. You're able to break out of the trap, the $100,000+ trap, and start your own business, launch it. And like I said, my goal is to help as many entrepreneurs leave corporate America and start earning at least 6 figures in their first year. So we do that. We launch them in 90 days. And that is it. If this sounds interesting to you, hit me up. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video.